this isn't just a matter of what data was given to these so-called journalists before us now.
It's quite obvious that you've profited from the Twitter files. You hit the jackpot on that Vegas slot machine.
I honestly hope that you will grapple with this, that it may be possible that if we can take off the tinfoil hat, that there's not a vast conspiracy.
The debate over free speech ramping up on Capitol Hill. Two of the authors of the viral Twitter files testifying before Congress. Journalist Matt Taibbi and, of course, author Matt Shellenberger, revealing in a new installment that Twitter established a system where federal agencies and nonprofits regularly consulted with the social media giant. I'm pleased to say joining us now to help break all of this down, Republican Florida Congressman Greg Steube. Congressman, thank you for being with us. I'm curious if you learned anything more yesterday about the balance and where we are in this country between free speech and state-sponsored censorship, of which we both know that the two cannot coexist at the same time.
Yeah, the Democrats apparently are okay with the government censoring you. Of course, they're okay with it because it's the Biden administration. Can you imagine for a second if it was the Trump administration trying to censor information that the Democrats didn't want censored? I mean, you've got these two things competing against each other. But at the end of the day, the Democrats don't want the First Amendment, which is one of the most vital and crucial amendments to our Constitution, and the ability for free speech and the ability for these journalists to be able to convey the information that they have and not identify a source. You saw this week in the hearing where Democrats are trying to go after these journalists and trying to go after who their source was. I must have missed where the New York Times and other journalists cascaded the Democrats for trying to get journalists to relinquish who their sources are.
Congressman, there was an exchange yesterday where they really start to get in the weeds about what the words meant and was the company being directed or not. Jim Jordan says they weren't. I want you to listen to this and then react on the other side.
Even with Twitter, you cannot find actual evidence of any direct government censorship of any lawful speech.
The following email from Clark Humphrey, Executive Office of the Presidency, White House Office, January 23rd, 2021. That's the Biden administration, 4:39 a.m. Hey, folks, this goes to Twitter. Hey, folks, wanted to use the term they used the term Mr. Goldman just used. Wanted to flag the below tweet, and I'm wondering if we can get moving on the process for having it removed ASAP.
I mean, if you really want to get into the grammar and be technical about it, the actions of flagging and moving, that's asking for something to be done here. But I find it really interesting that, again, they're trying to make it about how you read these words.
Yeah, the Democrat there is trying to use a little artful way of saying lawful speech. They're censoring speech, but they're not censoring lawful speech, which, of course, is in the eye of the Democrats in the Biden administration of what things they want to be provided to the American public and what things that they qualify as disinformation that shouldn't be provided to the American public. So they're playing semantics and lawyer games with the speech. But the bottom line is this administration absolutely was utilizing their ability as a government agency to attempt to and be successful in censoring American speech and what they were posting on Twitter and other social platforms.
All right, Congressman, want to get your take on this as well. House Democrats and Republicans voting unanimously, that almost never happens, to require the Biden administration to declassify all intelligence related to COVID-19's origins. Is he going to sign this? Is he going to comply? Are we actually going to get those answers, or are we going to see stonewalling here?
Well, thankfully, there's more than 2/3 that passed by. So if Biden doesn't sign it, we can override his veto. You've got it passed by unanimous consent in the Senate, and it passed, like you said. I've been in Congress almost 5 years now, and I don't think I've ever seen a bill pass unanimously. If so, it's very, very rare. So to see something that Republicans and Democrats can agree upon so pervasively, if the president doesn't sign this, this shows you that they have something to hide. And if he does veto it, we have the ability in the House and the Senate to override his veto so that the American public can get all of the information of the origins of COVID.
You know, I just make this point. We're out of time, Congressman, but even if he signs it, even if he vetoes it and you override him, there's still the question of can they drag their feet in terms of getting answers? That's an open question, but at least getting the impetus with the bill is a start. Congressman Greg Steube, thanks for being with us. We appreciate it.
Yeah, good to see you guys.